All right, so welcome to the Lightworker intuition, stepping into your soul, purpose, soul, divine mission workshop. I was kind of guided to share this story because I've been guided to kind of take people down the same path that I've been down, and that my sort of coaching mentoring journey started with food, and it was food for a really long time. And now it's evolving into other things. And I'm really being guided to take people down that path, which food was kind of the foundation, and physical healing was the foundation of that for me. But the most amazing part is going bigger with that, going beyond that. So that's what I'm here to share today. So the premise of this workshop is kind of, what is a light worker? How do you know if you are one? How do you step into your gifts as a light worker? And do you want to turn your light work into some sort of career, business, entrepreneurial endeavor of some sort? So let's start with the question. Actually, I'm going to start with some oils, because you guys know I love oils. So I'm using frankincense, which is the oil of truth. I personally like to put this one on my third eye because I feel like it helps me bring in the truth through my clairvoyant, claircognizant, clairsentient, clairaudient channels. I also use clary sage, which I like to use on my throat chakra. Again, this one also helps to open up those intuitive channels and just get you in that mode of receiving. I've also lately been using patchouli, which is the oil of embodiment. And if you guys have been watching my Instagram stories, you may have heard me sharing about anxiety that's been popping up for me lately. Now, knock on wood, I feel really good today. But that anxiety was like a real thing for a few days. So patchouli helps you come back into your body, come back into the present moment. And I use that at the base of my kind of spine, on the root chakra, like bring it back home into the body. And then I also chose spikenard today, which is the oil of gratitude. And I want to be sharing all of these messages today. I'm going to use this one on the heart chakra. Just with an air and an energy of like real gratitude for all of you who are showing up today, for the opportunity to share this, for the experience of having gone through this journey and feeling so just grateful in general and feeling so successful. So gratitude is always good. So I chose those oils. And then we're going to start with a card from the starseed deck. So let's see what comes through here. And I'm going to set the intention that we are asking for a message intended for our highest good, everyone live on this call and everyone watching the replay, and for the highest good of all those concerned, for the whole collective of humanity. And I'll ask that this card, which is jumping out at me, will share the most important message we need to know today in guiding us in our light work. So the message is cracked open. And so there's this beautiful image of this woman sort of split in half. Rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So that's certainly the way I felt when I was dealing with anxiety for the last week. Yeah, it's been a week. It started last Saturday. Just sort of cracked open to like all my fears and all the unknowns, and cracked open to the idea that fear is a natural part of the human condition, and that I didn't need to resist it or feel like I did something wrong or try to change it. I just really needed to sit with it and be in it and allow the anxiety to show me what's underneath that is still coming up for healing. And a lot of times, as we take these leaps in our ascension, or these leaps and stepping into a higher vibration, crap's going to come up that's got to be released in order for you to go higher. There's stuff you can't take with you at these higher levels of consciousness. And so I think that's what was happening for me. And I know a lot of you reached out and said like, oh my gosh, I'm having anxiety this week too, or a lot of fears coming up recently. So yeah, so be okay with the experience of really being cracked open and really being taken down to the core of your shadow and really being with yourself, holding space for yourself as you go through your life experience and you go through your ascension journey. Because the more you can really get down to the core of who you are and what it is that you are experiencing, the more you're going to grow and the more you're going to gain from that. So yeah, so allow yourself to be cracked open a little bit today. Okay. So coming to the kind of first topic of this workshop today, what is a light worker? So generally speaking, let me give you a reference. One of my favorite books for light workers is this book called Lightworker by Savannah Arienta. She's got 4 or 5 books. I love all of her work. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. She shares a lot of personal stuff. Just phenomenal. She's just I don't know. She's a real inspiration to me. So if you feel any inclination that you may be a light worker, you want to learn more about it, this is a great resource. I haven't read this book in a long time, but when I did read it, I did a lot of highlighting and scribbling in here. I was like, oh, this is me the whole time. So, okay. So I don't know when I came across the term light worker, but I know the first time, I remember very specifically the first time someone called me a light worker, and I was at this old home that was being renovated and turned into like a healing center. So it was gonna be like a big yoga studio, room for body workers, room for offices, all different kinds of stuff. And the woman running the place was showing me around and introducing me to people. And she said, oh, this is Rachel. She's a light worker. And I was like, I am. And I just remember like my whole body lighting up and like feeling so warm and so like excited and so like, whoa, that could be me. And at that time, I was really just doing nutrition. I was looking for a brick and mortar office to move into and just start like a nutrition counseling practice. And there was a little component of spirituality to it. When I first started my business, it was called Healing the Hungry Soul. And it was really about helping people work through their physical healing, primarily focusing on body weight, but also bringing in that soul component that, you know, I had an understanding back then, which I have an even deeper understanding now, that body weight was really connected to our part of our soul journey. And so part of the reason we were, you know, I felt like I had been carrying excess weight in my life was because my soul was really starved. My soul was really hungry for being in alignment and for doing my light work and being in my soul mission. And at that point in time, I did not know what my soul mission was. I was working towards it. And here I am 6 years later, 5.5 years later. And I really feel like I've stepped into my soul mission, and that mission keeps evolving and changing. But when you can get into alignment with your mission as a light worker, you will feel your whole vibration, your whole energy, your whole body change, everything in your life will change for the better. So back to the question, what is a light worker? A light worker is someone who has come to Earth at this particular time. There have been light workers scattered all throughout human history, but particularly at this time, there are a tremendous number of souls coming in with a mission to help enlighten humanity, guide, teach, heal, do healing work, because humanity is on the verge of we've got a lot of darkness, right? It's a lot of darkness in terms of polluting the planet, in terms of greed, in terms of all different aspects of darkness on the planet, right? Racism and all kinds of things. And it's getting to the point where we're kind of at a tipping point, right? Like if we don't start to change something, we're at the point where we could destroy ourselves because, we've got nuclear weapons and the oceans are getting so polluted that, the fish population, all of it is, we're starting to get to this precipice, right? And so there's been this army of light workers that has come in to try and help shift the energy of the planet. And so light workers may have soul missions in many different areas. Some may be working in environmentalism, some may be working in more social rights. Some may be working in the political system. Some may be working in the medical system. Some may just be working on raising families of light workers. And each of those children is going to do their own light work, and that's going to make a huge ripple. So, so sometimes it's mothers and fathers who are light workers. Sometimes it's authors, people writing poetry, making music. So light work can come in any different kind of format. My light work is really about connecting directly to women, to mothers, to budding healers, budding light workers who are kind of at this point stepping into their path. For a long time, it was coaching people through their physical healing journey and helping a lot of mothers to share this physical healing information with their children, getting physical bodies healthier. And that's, my work is evolving here, but so it can come in a lot of different ways, but oftentimes light workers will feel more sensitive than the average person. They'll feel a deeper calling towards helping people, towards doing healing work. And oftentimes light workers feel very restless until they step into their soul work. They feel like there's something missing. This isn't what I meant to do. This job is giving me a paycheck, but I come here and I feel like glazed over. I feel numb. I don't have any, I can only stay in a job for 2 years. And then I'm like, what's next? There's something better for me. There's something more. So if any of these experiences resonate, just drop an emoji or a comment and just, yes, I felt sensitive. Yes, I felt out of alignment. Yes, I felt this or that. So you can feel very restless and very sort of just dissatisfied with life until you step into your real soul work. And it's unique because some people can kind of take a job and stay in it for 30 years and collect their check and get their retirement savings and just, take their 2 weeks or 3 weeks of vacation each year and just be really satisfied. But that wasn't me. I have a feeling that's not most of you on this call. And so it's like this sense of restlessness that like, there's more, there's something else. There's a different thing. And that was really my experience. Like I went to college and studied nutrition, and then I got every single certification. I studied every single different methodology of nutrition, functional medicine, herbalism, and I just kept feeling like there's something else. I found medical medium, and that was a big piece of filling in the gaps for me. But once I got into that information, I was like, there's something else. There's still an emotional piece of healing that's missing for me. There's an intuitive piece that I desperately want more of. So you may feel a little restless or a little unsettled until you kind of really step into your path. And it can take a long time to really figure out your path because there's a lot of limiting beliefs. There's a lot of blocks in our societies that tell us we have to follow the normal path, but we have to get in the box with everyone else. But the normal path and the box is not for everyone. And we're here to kind of break the mold for people. Feeling stuck at the present moment, like being in a hamster wheel, same thing every day. Yeah, I used to go to work and be like, oh, I'm just a cog in the wheel, and I leave and I come back, and it was like so mind numbing to me. A lot of experimenting with different avenues until you find the right one. I'm still doing that a little bit. I'm still like, but yeah, a lot of experimentation required. So, so light workers can also be more sensitive to this restlessness, more empathic, more sensitive in general, because we're more attuned to other people's pain, because we have a mission to help shift that and to help create change. And so if we don't see the darkness, we don't have any motivation to change it. So the average person doesn't see suffering the way a light worker or an empath does. So if you see suffering, if you feel more sensitive to suffering, that can mean you're a light worker as well. Some people also resonate more with the term starseed. And a starseed can be a light worker that has had many incarnations in other galaxies or on other planets, or so they're coming from these different different universes, right? Different planetary systems, star systems, and they're coming to Earth with their own unique gifts and a real sort of unique image of what living and life is, because they've had experiences in other places, and bringing that to the Earth as well. So some light workers also resonate as a star seed. And so there can also be this feeling of being out of place on planet Earth. It's almost like, coming from having lived in a foreign country for 30 years, and then you come to a new country and you don't speak the language and you don't understand the culture, and you see all the dysfunction, and you're like, oh, I don't really understand this place, but I want to see it looking different. So you may also resonate as a starseed with a light worker mission as well. But whatever you want to call it, the term indigo was very popular kind of earlier on in the 2000s, when some of us were children, or some of, other children. So there's children who are coming in with these missions too, who kind of get these labels. Crystal children, they may be called as well, just more highly sensitive. And another common aspect of light workers is that they may experience a lot of darkness in their life, because healers have to do their own healing work. Healers have to have been through experiences that allow them to develop their empathy and compassion, so that they can know what it's like to be in the shoes of those they're trying to help. So oftentimes there's a lot of struggle in the life of a light worker before they step into their real path, because you've got to know the ropes. You've got to know what it feels like. You have to have tangled with the darkness and made it out and brought light to that situation. So again, it's also not uncommon for light workers to have struggled with abuse, with addictions, with dysfunctional family situations, with mental health issues. So it's very common that we've experienced some of these things that allow us to step into our role as a light worker. And I very much resonate in that space. I understand why every single moment of pain and suffering happened in my life, because it's led me to where I am, and it has allowed me to have deeper compassion and deeper empathy and more capacity to hold space for people who are actively in those darker places. So the darker you go, the more space you have to hold more light. So if that's part of your journey, know that that's for a reason as well, that's part of your path. So so now we know what a light worker is. A light worker may also feel like they have more psychic gifts, or they really desire more psychic gifts. Most of the time, light workers have psychic gifts and they don't realize it. For me, it was empathy. I did not realize what a high-level empath I was until someone told me. And then I started to watch it and realize it and go, oh, wow, I'm taking on a lot of people's other stuff. And psychic gifts don't have to mean like that you're a medium and you can speak to those who have crossed over. Psychic gifts can just mean high level empathy. It can mean very strong intuition. It can mean that you feel a deeper connection. Or you just really desire those gifts. Like when I was working with a spiritual teacher, my first teacher, I probably started working with her in 2014. And she was very gifted, medium, psychic, intuitive. And I would just be like, I want to be able to do that, but I'll never be able to do that. There's no way. A lot of people who are very psychic will tell you, like, everyone has these gifts. Anyone can do this. And when you're not tapped into it, you're like, oh, there's no way, but I wish, but there's just no way. And and that's where I was. And I'm here to tell you, there is a way. It's in everyone. It's just a matter of tapping into it and figuring out what your unique gifts are. So just the desire, anytime you have a strong desire for something from a place that comes like within your heart center, that's a desire that comes from your soul. So that's a desire that is already available to you in the quantum field. It already exists as a potential, and your job is just to bring it closer to you. So if you have that desire, know that it's out there, it's available to you, and that you can access it and you can get it. So, okay, so what I want to jump into kind of sharing my story about how I really stepped into my light work. And because I think sometimes people see me as like having this platform and doing intuitive work and doing coaching and talking about ascension. And I have to tell you, I did not always live in this realm of life. I was very fear-based. I was very stuck in lack. I was in a relationship that was very quietly manipulative, and that was very much holding me back. I was a people pleaser. I was extremely working in the masculine. I was extremely working in the masculine. I was very disconnected from my feminine side. So let me take you back and tell you my story of kind of how I got here. So I found myself in, 2013, in a real 2012, 2013, in a real point of pain in my life. And I've shared part of this in other stories, but I had taken this job with a pharmaceutical company doing sales in Brooklyn, and I had checked all the boxes. I got the 6-figure salary, I got the company car, they flew me around the country, I had the company credit card, I worked from home, right? I did it. I checked all the boxes. I'm 29 years old, and I did it, 28, 29. And deep down inside, when I was interviewing for that job, I knew it wasn't for me. I knew it wasn't like gonna make me feel really good. Like, I wasn't excited about it. I just was like, oh, cool, look at this list of awesome things. I'll do that. And then I got into that job, and I was miserable. I was gaining a pound a month. I would finish my workday and I would cry. There was a beautiful, like, world-renowned Pilates studio across the street from my apartment in New York City. And I bought a package, and I couldn't even get myself to walk across the street and go do Pilates, which I loved. I was just, I felt so lost. And so I knew I couldn't live like that. And so I just up and quit that job. I had no plan. I had about like $8,000 in my savings account. And I was just like, I'm out. Like, I can't do this. I quit. And I wound up moving to Rhode Island to be closer to my sister. And she had a horse farm. And I was like, okay, I'm coming back to the things that are like actually important to me. Like, this whole image of trotting around New York City in my suit with my nails done and like driving my company car, like, that's not happiness. That is in no way, shape, or form happiness. I was not serving my life purpose in any way doing that job, right? This is the money doesn't buy happiness chat. So I came here, and I had bought a condo in Westchester, New York, just a little 1-bedroom condo, but I had bought it right before the market crashed in New York, and I couldn't sell it. I rented it for a little while, and it was shelling out money every month to keep it. I couldn't rent it for even what I paid for it. And it got to the point where I was like, I can't keep this. This apartment is sucking me dry. And I got into that apartment for the wrong reasons. That was a checklist that also was not aligned with my soul purpose. That was very much an intellectual decision that was in my gut, I was wrong. So I found myself in this space of like real financial lack. I had left this big salary. I had this apartment that was draining me. This was at the point when unemployment was at its highest, and in Rhode Island was like first or second in unemployment in the US. And I was kind of like, oh, maybe I'll get like a little nutrition job thingy going. I was like cleaning stalls and grooming horses for like, I don't know, $10 an hour or something. Like I was in this real funky space, and my savings was quickly running out. And I was in this real space of lack and massive financial pain and complete disconnection with my soul purpose. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I can't live like this. And I found my first spiritual teacher, and her name was Gladys. I've mentioned her name before, Gladys Ellen. She's a local woman in Rhode Island. And this was a big part of my spiritual awakening. So a lot of my spiritual awakening has been around financial lack and real pain and suffering in that area. And I went to her, and after many months of working with her, one day she said to me, "You need to start your own business." And I was like, oh no, absolutely not. Nope. I'd seen my parents run a business and seen that fail after 20 years, and seen my parents lose everything and have to go to these like crappy corporate jobs at like CVS. And my sister was running an equestrian business, and she was struggling to pay the bills and feed her horses. And I was like, hell no, lady, I will never run my own business. Like that holds no appeal to me. And I have to find, this call is recorded. I have to find the recording of it sometime, but I'm pretty sure it's on a CD in my car. But the only place I have a CD player. But by the end of that call, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to start my own business. And I made a plan like that day. Like, I'm a Capricorn, guys. So like, if I get an idea, like watch out, it's happening. So I made a plan like that day or within the next few days, had an exit strategy. I got this opportunity to start teaching courses at a college. And so I was like, sign me up, give me a full schedule. Like I started teaching writing lessons. I was teaching Pilates lessons. I picked up all these part-time gigs so I could start this nutrition business. And that was 2015, the first time someone called me a light worker, and that really resonated deep in my soul. And it still took me a lot more years to get into the space where I really got in alignment with that, with my light work purpose. But that was really the start of it. And so the next kind of phase of that journey was I closed my brick and mortar practice when I got pregnant with my daughter, and I was very, very sick. Like I couldn't eat for like 14 weeks. I lost weight in the first trimester. I had a ton of viral symptoms in pregnancy, which I didn't know what they were then. I know now. So it was a big activation of Epstein-Barr virus in my system. And so I closed that practice. And when she was about 9 months old, people started reaching out to me again and saying, hey, are you going to come back and do some nutrition work and blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I got the message. Like I have to go back to work now. And I started with a 2-day like workshop thing for dietitians about running your own business. And that was like a $300, $350 training. And that was so much money to me then, because I wasn't really making any money. I had spent all my savings on my maternity leave. And when I had my brick and mortar practice, my package was like $325 to work with me for 3 months, like, or $350 to work with me for 3 months. Like I was in a very small scale with money and all that stuff. So I was very much in the financial pain, and I was very lacking in abundance at that point in my life. And so I signed up for that. And then I booked my first package, and I was like, okay, wow, this is happening. And then in January of 2018, I signed on for a year-long business coaching program that taught me how to build an online health business, coaching business. And somebody just knocked on the window. I think it was a bee. And that was $5,000. And that was like, oh my God, how am I going to spend $5,000? How am I going to make a $500 a month payment for this business mastermind? But I knew it was one of those, I knew I had to do it. And the woman who coached me was in the medical medium practitioner support group. So she was very aligned with where I was then. I was healing all of my issues that really popped up in pregnancy. I had significant adrenal fatigue. And so it was very aligned. It was like, I kind of created the vision in the fall of 2017. Like, I want to create an online nutrition practice. I want to work. I had created that vision in a small scale further back, but I had gotten a lot more clear that I want to build an online practice, and I want to, I want to have time with my daughter. That was a massive part of why I took that leap and left my corporate job, was like, I want, and created the exit strategy, right? I wanted to have time with my daughter, and I didn't want to be locked into this 9 to 5 thing. I didn't want to be sending her to daycare and trying to pump breast milk at work. Like, that was not the vision I had for my life. I wanted to really nurture my child and be super connected to her, and do attachment parenting, which is a lot of baby wearing and breastfeeding around the clock, not just this first 6 months, for like the first 2 years. And that was super important to me. And so I started this process. And I want to go back a little bit and talk about the power of our thoughts and the power of manifestation. So when I was pregnant, I had 2 stories that I manifested. They were not good stories. One was, they weren't bad stories, but one was the due date that 40 weeks for pregnancy is completely made up number. Someone just decided it was 40 weeks. There's no scientific data that is the gestation for a human. Some dude made that up, doctor in like the 40s or 30s or something. So I would say the average length of gestation for a first pregnancy is 41 weeks and 1 day. So I don't expect her to come on my due date. It's 41 weeks and 1 day. I must have said that 1,000 times. Well, guess when she was born? 41 weeks and 1 day. So I feel very strongly that I had that, like, maybe she was telling me it was that, I don't know. But that thing I kept saying came to life. It came to fruition. The other thing I was saying was I would rather go broke than be away from my child when she was very young. So what happened in the first year of her life? In the second year of her life, I was broke, super broke. I had to spend a ton of my savings in my pregnancy because I was so sick I couldn't work. I was taking cash advances from my credit cards to pay my half of the rent. I was not asking for support. I didn't know what support was. I had never been supported. I had always had to be very independent. And so, like, I never thought to be like, hey, can somebody help me out here? Or like, even my husband, like, hey, I can't work. Can you pay the rent? Like, these thoughts never popped into my mind. So here I am taking cash advances. I got to the point where I had all this money on credit cards. I had to take money out of my 401k, my retirement savings. And I remember that being like the most gut wrenching, like, I'm crying. I can't believe it's come to this moment. And now in hindsight, I don't give 2 shits about that. I'm like, whatever, I don't worry. I'm so in abundance now that doesn't even faze me. But back then I was in such financial pain for years and years and years. And what I realized is I was manifesting all of it because I believed that making money was hard. I believed that I had to suffer. I didn't know what support was. I didn't know I could call in support. I didn't know my worth. I didn't know how to receive money. So I was very much in these points of pain. And so I got into my business in the first year after manifesting a lot of lack, and things started to shift. I launched my website in July of 2018. And that year, my business made $14,000. But I invested $5,000 in the business training, and I invested $5,000 in the website. So my profit was probably nothing that year. And then in 2019, things were starting to grow, but it was a very slow grow. And I was still very much struggling. I wound up tapping out my retirement savings. I took all $50,000 out of that and used it to live on as I grew this business. And in September of 2019, my business revenue at that time for that year was probably about $40,000, 35, 40. And I decided to enroll in this $30,000 business coaching, deep inner healing mastermind. And that was insane, right? So I had started to make this shift from making decisions based on logic, based on reason, based on what the world says is okay. And I started to really put my faith and trust in the universe. I started to really listen to my intuition. And a lot of people gave me a lot of shit for signing up for that mastermind. They shamed me. They told me I was putting them in an early grave. They, were like, yeah, we support you. We know you can do this. But they were saying that, but they weren't giving me that vibration. And I was like alone on this journey of being like, I am going to step into my role. What I didn't understand was I was going to step into my role as a light worker and nothing is going to stop me. Financial fear, financial pain, none of that is going to stop me, right? Like I was so sure of what I needed, that this is what I need to do. This is my life purpose. The space I was in was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to shrivel up and die. I'm going to gain like 40 pounds. I'm going to just go into a depression. I'm going to have to get on like antidepressants. Like I'm just going to shrivel up and die if I don't go all in on this. And so it was scary. It was really scary. It was terrifying. I had no idea how I was going to do it. But I just really put my faith and trust into it. And I found a mentor that I really believed in, that I really trusted her. She was very transparent. She shared her story with me about going into complete financial ruin and then building $1 million business. And I was like, okay, I trust you. You've been in that level of darkness and you've come out of it holding more light, more financial energy than ever before. And lots of other things that inspired me to work with her. And so I did it. And what I went through in 2019 in that year was deep, deep healing. And it was, it's the year of COVID, right? We all got locked down and had to go, oh shit, now we got to look at all our problems. Can't get away from them. And so I went really deep, and I really went into that space of financial lack and that space of unworthiness, that I wasn't, and that space of not being able to receive. My sacral chakra was all out of whack. I couldn't receive support. I couldn't receive love. I had absolute zero libido, like none. I didn't want to like anyone to touch me or come near me. I was not making enough money to live the lifestyle I desired. I could pay my bills, but I was very uncomfortable and in lack. So I did a lot of deep inner healing work, and I really stepped into this space of recognizing my worth, getting my energy field clear, really setting boundaries, stopping the people pleasing. I really went into my issues with codependency, and that caused my marriage to end because I said, I'm not going to live in codependency anymore. I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to sacrifice my own happiness. I'm not going to try and make everyone else happy at my own expense. And that caused my marriage to end last year. And that was obviously a very painful thing. And there was a child involved, and that was difficult. But in hindsight, it's the best thing I ever did. And I have to tell you, the day that I said that the words came out like, we need to get divorced, and I said, okay, we're doing this. I swear to you, the next day, I came at my business with a vengeance because I was like, all right, now I'm free to speak my truth. Because my partner did not like my light work. He did not like the words I was using. He was terrified of me talking about angels, talking about intuition. It was like very off-putting to him. And so I couldn't be my authentic self. I had to hide. I was hiding. I was not tapping into my power. I was staying small. I was afraid of triggering other people. And it took getting into my own clear energy field to really like step up and step out and be like, this is who I am. This is my truth, and I'm going to share it. And the more authentically I share my truth, the more I share my stories, the more clients come, the more money shows up, the more empowered I feel, the more trust and surrender I feel to the path. And so it was very funny that anxiety popped up this week. So I was like, oh, what are all these little fears? I don't feel these anymore. I don't believe these fears anymore. I know these fears are not true. I don't have to engage with these. I can just watch that there's still a little bit of that vibration held in me that's moving out as I step into this next level, that where I really feel like my life gets to be easy. My life gets to be abundant. I get to be fully supported. I get to be completely joyful. I get to have a horse. My dream my whole life to have a horse. And now I get to do that. And I never imagined I'd be someone who could be like, I'm going to buy a horse. I'm going to pay board for my horse, right? Like it was always this like, I'm gonna have to struggle. I'm gonna have to sacrifice. I'm gonna have to drive a really cheap, crappy car so I can like pay to have a horse. And then I'm not really gonna be able to afford to show it, right? Those were the stories I lived in. And now, no, I don't have any of those stories. Like the sky is the limit for me. And so I'm talking a lot about money because that's been one of my real pain points for growth, but it's really about the freedom, right? Because the money is just an energy, just like love is an energy, just like support is an energy. And so for me, getting into my own sovereignty and getting into my own highest vibration then puts me on a level where I automatically attract more money. I automatically attract soul clients who are an equal energy exchange, who fill me up just as much as I fill them up. I automatically attract people in my life who support me and who are like, hell yeah, talk about angels. Yeah, do a reading for me, like do energy healing for me. Like that's amazing. Like go for it. So the more authentic I become in my voice, the more the universe responds to that. And I get to step into this flow and I get to serve. Because ultimately what this all comes down to is that I am a light worker, and the only thing I truly desire in life is to serve. When I don't work, I feel like crap, guys. Like my clients will tell you, I'll be like, oh, I need to work. I feel horrible. I took 4 days off. Like I need to get back in the woo-woo zone. I need to get back in the channel. So my work fills my soul, fills my body up with so much energy and so much feeling of purpose and so much power and so much authenticity that I could never go back to anything else. I could never go back to codependency. I could never go back to a job where someone else told me what to do and how long I had to stay and what tasks I had to complete, right? Like where someone else was controlling me. I could never go back to any of those spaces. And you know, you can always have the what if fears, like, well, what if the business fails? What if this or that? I have none of those fears because I'm so in the channel and so in the frequency with my soul purpose that if I have to make a major pivot, so be it. I'm here. I'm ready for it. Like, I know I'm just so trusting that I'm supported because I know I'm so connected to my higher self and I'm so connected to my light work. And when you get in that zone, like ladies, you will be unstoppable. You will just experience so much joy and love and flow and effortless success when you get into that mastery of your own energy that you just become unstoppable. So that's why I'm sharing this story, is because I want you guys to, if you feel a calling to do light work, if you feel like there's something bigger for you, like there's something missing, like, oh, this isn't it. This isn't how I want to live my life. Like I want to help people. I see all this pain. I know people can live better lives. Like, just know that's really your soul speaking to you, and follow that voice, follow that message from your heart. And whatever your point of pain is, mine was financial, yours could be physical health. It could be breaking ties with your family, like really being trapped in generational familial stuff. It could be real fears around being seen, real fears around speaking up, wherever your point of pain is. Just know that the more you follow this intuition and work through it, all of those fears and all those pain points will start to dissipate, because you move into alignment. And when you are in alignment, everything becomes easier. Your energy is more powerfully in the present moment. And then you can just be. You can just be more. And you can be guided by your intuition, and you can be guided by your heart. And you can take risks, and you can do crazy things. You can get on here and tell your story and talk about money when we're not supposed to talk about money, or we're not supposed to talk about sex, or whatever we're not supposed to talk about, right? Like, you can just get out here and share all of it with authenticity. And again, your path may be different, right? Your light work, you'll find your own unique light work. But my goal is to tell you that I didn't always live this way. I was not abundant. I was not trusting. I was in so much fear and lack and scarcity, and it was brutal for many years. And I didn't trust, and I didn't have faith. And so to come to this space is just so powerful. And this is where I'm being guided now to take people beyond just the physical healing and really into their own sovereignty, and really into bringing people into their soul purpose. That's what I'm being guided to do now. And that's why you guys are here, because you're all light workers. So if no one has told you yet, let me be the first to tell you that you are all light workers. You would not be on this call. You would not be listening to this replay if you were not a light worker, right? You feel a call in some way, shape, or form. And so keep following that path. And it may take more years of healing before you get fully into that alignment, but just know that the darker you go, the more space you're creating for light, and the more power you're going to have to shift people. So if you're in dark moments, just trust that you are doing your deep inner healing work, and that it is all going to pay off for you. So, all right. So if you guys have any questions, or you want to know more about any of that, feel free to drop those questions in the chat box. I want to take this to, okay, cool, Rachel, like, I get what a light worker is. I hear your story, but now, like, well, what the hell do I do? How do I move forward? So a key piece of this is getting reconnected to your intuition, and getting embodied, coming back into your body and feeling safe within your body to allow your intuition to come through and speak to you. Because the intuition comes through in many ways, but oftentimes it's a body feeling. And we've all been taught to ignore our body feelings. Oh, you're hungry? Don't eat because you're on a diet. Oh, you're thirsty? Don't drink because then you're going to have to pee. Oh, you're tired? You have to stay up and you have to finish your work, right? Like, we have been taught to ignore our bodies in so many ways. It's insane. So we've got to come back to this space of coming into the body and listening to all the messages and listening to all the wisdom. A lot of us are disembodied from trauma as well. It's not safe to be in our bodies. Our bodies are in a constant state of heightened anxiety or heightened central immune system response. So it doesn't feel good to be in your body. So you want to be out somewhere else. You want to be too focused on work, too focused on what other people are doing, trying to control things, using food as a coping mechanism, using alcohol as a coping mechanism, whatever it is. So you want to come back to this space where it is safe and it is comfortable to be in your body in the present moment. So that's kind of step number one, is like embodiment and coming back in, and then inviting the intuition to turn on and turn up, and beginning to trust it, because the intuition is subtle. It's very subtle. And a lot of times we're getting a lot of intuitive hits, but we're ignoring them or downplaying them. We're like, oh, whatever, that's just a thing. Like when you get the goosebumps when I talk about something or you say something, that is your body telling you truth, 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 truth. Yes, yes, yes. But we go like, oh no, whatever. That doesn't actually mean anything. I didn't believe in the goosebumps for so long. And now I'm like, oh, that's like the best thing ever when you're like, yes, I got the goosebumps. They're telling me I'm aligned, I'm on the right space. So yeah, start to trust into those body feelings and stuff. So I want to guide you guys through a meditation to invite the intuition to come in more powerfully and to bring in this safety of being in the body, attunement to your present moment. So embodiment's kind of a different workshop. I've done some of those. I'm going to do more soul flows. Some of you are in some of my other groups where we're doing soul flows. That's a powerful embodiment practice. But the inviting the intuition in and starting to feel what your intuition feels like, because all of us have a unique set of intuitive ways that the intuitive channels come in, then that's going to help you too. So let me go to the chat box real quick. It's so small. How did it go so fast? Hold on. Saying goosebumps, gave you goosebumps. Of course. Okay. So Terry says, it feels like you move at light speed. Excuse me. I feel like I'm moving so slowly, but I actually like that I am taking everything slow. I took myself off the hamster wheel. I am learning who I am, what I like, and where I want to go in my life. Yeah. Remember, this started for me in 2014. This point of spiritual awakening, this point where the pain in my life was so bad that I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, I need help, and I don't I don't resonate with traditional therapy. I literally got online and I went like spiritual counselor, like coach or something, and I found this woman, randomly found her website online, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna schedule an appointment. I like had no money to be scheduling appointments at that point in my life. Like, I'm sure I just put on my credit card. And I drove to her office and I was freaked out. I was so nervous and like terrified. I had no idea what she was going to say to me. And I went in and I had that appointment, and that was like a real pivotal turning point. And this is 2014. So this is 7 years ago. So it feels like light speed because I'm sharing it in like mini snippets way, but it's been a long ass journey. I was writing in 2014, I want to be free of credit card debt. And I swear to you, that is about to happen in May. I'm going to make my last payment on credit card debt. So it took me 7 years to pay off the damn credit card. I'm not even there yet, right? So like, it feels like light speed, but it has been a long ass journey. And I feel like the beginning was slow, and then it starts to grow exponentially as your vibration rises. Your healing and your growth and the way things shift around you happen faster and faster. So now, yes, it is like light speed. I have an idea and I go like, Eileen, here, put this on a web page. Guess what? We're launching this in like 3 weeks. And she's like, okay. But I have a lot of support now, and my energy field is ultra clear and my body is very clean. I've done 3 years of cleansing. So it feels like light speed, but when you're in it, when I was in it, it felt really slow. I was like, when is this going to shift? I can't take it anymore. And I finally landed in 2021. I have landed, and now, yes, now it's light speed, and I want to keep it at light speed for now. I'll probably get tired at some point, but yeah, and everything is happening in divine timing. I wasn't ready for this yet. I wasn't ready to step out of my codependent relationship. I wasn't ready. I wasn't worthy enough yet to receive income the way I am now. I didn't have the worthiness for it. I didn't feel like I deserved it. And I still have guilt I'm healing through. That was coming up in the anxiety, love, guilt, and still unworthiness. So it's somebody's knocking on the window again. That was 2 taps. So yeah. So okay, so let's get into the all in divine timing. So let's get into the meditation, and let's just see if we can invite in more intuition. To support our healing. And one last thing I'll say about timing is that sometimes doing less means you're healing more, right? Like in the food protocols, it's not necessarily about doing more things or attacking each symptom with a supplement. It's about being in the healing. And sometimes the most healing thing you can do is just sleep, not make more juice or take more supplements or cook more healing foods or try to shove a detox smoothie in yourself. Sometimes you just need to sleep, or you just need to lay on the couch and rest and watch TV sometimes. Sometimes that's the most healing thing. Doing less and receiving more. I always said I wanted to work less and make more, and like I am living it, and I will not ever work more than I'm working right now. 3 days a week is it. My life is about my life, and my work is just my work. So yeah, that's the divine feminine that has changed my life, because I was a workaholic. I was working, even when I wasn't working, I was working on something, right? This is Capricorn Virgo, high standards, perfectionism. When you combine those two, like, oh my gosh, I'm my own worst nightmare. The level of perfection and self-criticism is maddening. So, okay, so let's get into this meditation. We've got about a half hour left, so that's perfect. We'll do about 15 or 20 minutes, and then I will open it up for questions for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to invite you guys to close your eyes. I've got my Lemurian crystal here that I got in Sedona, which is, we're going to let this baby guide us through this meditation. And then I also have another new baby. This is a emerald. I saw this and I like picked it up immediately, and I couldn't put it down in the crystal store. I just like carried it around and was like, I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to buy this. I have to buy this. Okay. So this is going to be for the heart chakra, and this one's going to be for our intuition. So let's go with that. Okay. So closing your eyes and starting to take some deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And beginning to just feel gratitude for this moment that has allowed you to be here in this frequency of inspiration. Start to feel into any little bits of excitement or motivation or new ideas or new activation of energy that may have started to kick into your body here. And I'll invite you to go deeper within by drawing your attention to the center of your head, right between your ears, behind your eyes. Connecting to that intuitive center of the body, the third eye, the pineal gland. And then sending some energy from that center of the head down through the spinal column, all the way down through the root chakra, and sending a grounding cord down into the earth. Sending that root deeper and deeper into the earth. burrowing into the wisdom, the guidance, the safety and security of Mother Earth. Sending that root down deeper and deeper until you reach the core of the earth. And wrapping that root around the earth star chakra. Anchoring you onto this earth plane right here, right now, in this moment. Sending energy down that grounding cord, strengthening that connection to the earth, grounding yourself deeper and more securely. Recognizing that as we invite the intuition and we invite energy in through our higher chakras, it is of the utmost importance that we stay ultra grounded. The deeper you go with that grounding cord, the more you are opening up and activating and allowing space for the intuitive channels to come in safely and securely. And as we begin to invite in our intuition, I want you to draw your attention to the solar plexus chakra that sits just above the belly button. And imagine that this is a circle of swirling light representing your power center for the physical body. And I want you to open that chakra up to 90% of its capacity. So imagine that that circle is growing wider and bigger. We're activating our empowerment. We're activating our physical capacity to hold more light in the body. So as you open up that solar plexus chakra, feeling deeply empowered in your divinity, deeply connected to source, to a higher power of your own understanding. And then we'll move our attention to the heart chakra. And we'll do the same. We're going to grow that heart chakra very big, up to 100% of its capacity. Encompassing the whole chest. One big, glowing, shiny, activated, powerful heart chakra, where we connect to the deepest levels of compassion and empathy, love for ourselves and for all of humanity. So we're activating these energy centers in the physical body that will allow us to channel in information through our intuition. And now that your body is activated and ready to receive information, I want you to draw your attention back to that pineal gland. And I'm going to invite you to just sit in stillness for a moment. I want you to listen within your head for any words or phrases that may come through. I want you to feel for any sensations in the body that have wisdom for you. I want you to look with your third eye inside your head for any colors, images. And I want you to know into what is your truth of what messages are coming through to you today. So we're using our clairaudience, our clairsentience, our clairvoyance, and our claircognizance. And I invite you to ask the question, what is my next step? Tap into this desire to align with your soul mission, to step into your soul purpose, and ask, what is my next step? And just see what comes through for you. And just take note of what comes through for you. You may already know what your next step is, even if you're in resistance to it. You may not receive any specific information. You may also ask that your next step is shown to you, that you're guided to your next step if it's unclear at this time. So oftentimes when we ask a question of the intuition, it doesn't always come immediately. Sometimes we have to be patient and wait for divine timing to work for us. And then I'm going to invite you to say a prayer from a place of gratitude. And so your prayer may sound like, thank you for guiding me to where I am right here and now today. And please continue to guide me as I step into my light work. I desire to serve. Show me, show me, show me. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Say a prayer in a space of gratitude, opening yourself up and inviting in that next intuitive hit. Maybe it comes right now, maybe it comes in a week, maybe it comes in 6 months. Just go to that space of gratitude and surrender in prayer. And as you continue to sit in this meditation, I want you to just feel for any resistance in your body. Feel for anything that says, nothing's coming through, I'm not doing it right, there's something wrong with me. Feel for anything that says, I feel what I want in my next step, but this is holding me back. This says I can't have it. This says I can't do it. Feel for any resistance within you. Feel for any ego thoughts that may want to block you from what is clearly coming through from your intuition as your next step. So just feel into any resistance. And I invite you to go deeper into the resistance. Get cozy with it. Ask it questions. Ask why it's there. Where does this come from? Who told you that? Who taught you that? Ask your ego why it's triggered. And then make friends with those sensations. Embrace them. Have gratitude for them. Thank them. Thank you, ego, for showing up and telling me that you want to prove me wrong. You want to say, I told you so. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. I understand there's unhealed parts of me that I've yet to integrate, and I love and accept myself as a human being with resistance. Send some gratitude, send some love to those spaces in you that are kicking and screaming and holding density and making themselves known so that you may transmute them. And you may transmute some of that today, right here and now. It may happen tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. But eventually, if you continue to follow the intuition, if you continue to stay in gratitude, if you continue to have a vision, you will transcend and transmute all of those things. Because you are all on the path to enlightenment as light workers. You know about enlightenment. The average human enlightenment doesn't hit their radar at all. It's not a thing they even imagine. You are on the path to enlightenment. You are on the path to living in the fifth dimensional vibration on a three-dimensional plane. You get to live in joy. You get to live in love. You get to live in complete and total freedom. And you get to live that every moment of every day. And there will be times when the shadow will pop up and you will be triggered, but you will learn how to heal that. You will learn how to move through it. You will learn how to love yourself through it. You will learn how to call in support. You will learn how to use your intuition to guide you through that, and it will no longer have control over you. Each of you is stepping into your own sovereignty as a light worker. Each of you is taking a step closer to your soul purpose today. And allow that empowerment to move through your body now. Allow this golden vibration of sovereignty and empowerment to begin to come through the crown of your head, through your crown chakra. Melting, dripping, weaving its way through your head, into your neck. Allowing you to take a deep breath and relax your shoulders. This golden energy moving down your arms, into your hands, activating those healing hand chakras to a greater capacity, moving through the chest and the heart. Golden energy of alignment with your soul purpose, moving through the abdomen, filling all the organs, all the energy centers of the body, moving through every meridian line. That golden energy coming down through your legs, your hips, past the knees and calves into the ankles and the feet. And that golden energy growing roots through the soles of your feet down into Mother Earth, anchoring you more deeply into your soul purpose, into your sovereignty, into your freedom, into your compassion, and empowering you to continue to step forward into your light work, empowering you to continue to do your own healing work, transmuting that darkness and creating more space for you to hold light, more space for you to activate the healer, the teacher, the mentor, the guide, the subtle energy that walks around, sprinkling a little light with everyone that you connect with, at the grocery store, at the gas station, being an inspiration and a model for those around you, allowing people to feel what a high vibration feels like, empowering them, inspiring them. And coming back to the breath, taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And beginning to bring your awareness back into the room, coming back into your body, wiggling fingers and toes. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. And I'll ask that any healing, any inspiration, any activation that started today will continue on for each person who's watching this live or on replay, until each of us steps fully onto our path of light work and fulfills our soul purpose in this lifetime. How do you guys feel? Tell me in the comments. I feel good. Yeah, grounded. Unstoppable. Yes, relaxed. This is the space where the intuition comes in. We have to turn off all the outside noise and all of the distraction, come into stillness. When you're in your grounded, relaxed space is when your intuition can come in and talk to you. And like, I don't plan any of these meditations at all. I just, like I said, I sort of set an intention. I go like, oh, let's talk about this. Let's make that a thing. And then I, in less than 24 hours, I sit down for about 10 or 15 minutes and I jot out a couple notes about what I want to share, because I like to share the personal journey aspect of it. That's how I pick teachers. What now is like, you know, what have you been through? What have you healed? Show me that you've been down the path. So I like to share that. And sometimes I talk about topics that some people don't think should be talked about, but I don't know. I'm not a people pleaser anymore. I keep telling myself that because I still am a little bit. I'm still working through that, but I'm just going to keep pronouncing that I am no longer a people pleaser. You guys are so welcome for that. So hopefully you're a little clear. Hopefully you feel, tell me, did anybody get anything come through when we invited in? What's the next step, or anything like intuitively come in? My message was just like, my message was very funny. They were like, this is it. You're in it. You're doing it. You go. And it was like very funny. And I was like, oh, haha, that's very funny. And they're like, yeah, we're so funny. Like, and I was like, okay. It was funny. Got colors, tingling, heard love. Yes. Purple and angels. So good. So good. So all of this stuff that comes in is so real, guys. Like, one thing I didn't share, and if you guys have questions, a brick wall for the hard parts to get through, yeah. Ask them to change that to like, I don't know, streamers or feathers or water, a wave, yeah. So if you guys have questions, feel free. One thing I didn't share that I wanted to share was, how did I get to this point where like, I just go, okay, now it's meditation time. Let me just channel. So one thing I did was like, it was the process of kind of outing myself outing myself from the spiritual closet, right? And I just came on Instagram and I was like, hey guys, guess what? I'm super intuitive and this is what happens when I do readings. And I was like, I'm just gonna share it. Like, it was a weird random thing. And one of the ways that my intuition really kicked in was when I would have clients submitting information through my website about a couple of you guys got like the cracked open fault line. Yeah, that's cool. people would submit like, here's my problem, this is what I need help with, blah, 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 through my website. And so I would print out what they sent to me, and I would just look at their name and their age, and I wouldn't read what they sent. And I would turn over the paper, and I would just close my eyes, and I would just set the intention to connect with them. Because I felt like I had already been given their permission, right? Because they've already scheduled a session, they've already paid. So they are consenting to engage with me to engage with their energy, right? So I felt like that was, you always want to make sure, never, ever, ever read anyone, connect to anyone's energy without their permission, ever. You can do it to your own kids, right? Or a parent can consent for their child, but never do energy work on someone without their consent. It's a real violation of people's energetic privacy. So I would close my eyes, and I would just, what I started doing was just scanning their bodies. And I would write down like, oh, I see red in the thyroid. To me, that means inflammation. I see like the liver is showing me a color black. That means to me there's a lot of toxins in there. I would see the heart chakra, and I would see a crack in it, and I'd be like, they've got some kind of like wound in the heart. I would see images of like burnt out buildings in the root chakra, and I'm like, oh, there's some kind of trauma here around, whatever. And then I would get on the phone and I would talk to these people, and I was finding that my readings were very accurate. I was like, oh shoot, like there is something here. And even things that I thought were wrong, like I'd be like, I'm getting the image that this woman is very overweight. And I would then flip it over and I'd look at her height and her weight, and I'd be like, oh, she's not overweight. Why was that coming through? But then I would talk to her, and in her mind, she was very overweight. She was really like beating herself up. This is the highest weight I've ever been, blah, blah. And I'd be like, oh, she's not overweight, but that's her internal impression of it. And so I just started reading people, and then I started doing chakra readings, and then I started practicing on clients that I knew and that I was really comfortable with. And I'd be like, hey, I'm experimenting with this thing. Can I practice on you? And they were all like, yeah. And little by little, each aspect of my intuition would get validated and validated and validated until I get to the point where, what was a funny one that happened recently? Oh, Lindsay had a body work with someone, and we wanted to connect into that session and see what happened. And I was like, does this woman like shuffle around? I see her like shuffling, like she can't walk well. Lindsay was like, yes, she totally shuffles. And so it's just these little things, and you go like, okay, my intuition really works. Like there's really stuff coming through. Had an instance yesterday morning. I was thinking about my ex-husband, and I was thinking about him, and I was thinking like, he needs to get a raise soon. Like he can't stay in that job he was in when we were together last year. Like he's got to get a raise. Like he needs to be supported and staying in the home and like being able to like do more with our daughter. And I literally pick up my phone. He's got a text message, and he's like, can we talk? And first of all, never send someone a text message that says, can we talk? So I was like, oh my God. And I'm already dealing with anxiety. And I'm like, you'll call him right. Just call him right now. What is it? Get over it. So I called him, and he's like, hey, I have this opportunity for a job promotion. He's like, sorry, I probably should have told you it was a good thing. And I was like, yes, please tell me it's a good thing next time. So he's like, I have this opportunity for a job promotion. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like I was totally tapped into him, like thinking about that and sending that frequency through. So look for these little things that validate your intuition, because they're really real and they're really happening. And sometimes the intuition, some people describe it as like the imagination. I don't exactly feel it that way. It feels very real to me, but it may feel like your imagination. There's these big bees that are like bunking on the windows. So I better look up the bee animal messenger. Oh, there you go. Bees are for you, Lindsay. They're literally like bonking on like both windows now. And I haven't heard, this is the first day I've heard them. I did not get a fruit fly today. I usually get a little, this is fairy. So watch for those little things that validate your intuition. Ask for help with it. I'm going to be doing a course in, I think, July. That's going to be it's going to be 6 weeks dedicated to developing your intuition. And we're going to journey through the chakras as well. So it's like self-healing and learning to do healing work for other people. So that's going to be a cool thing that's coming. because we all need to get connected to our intuition in order to step into our path with light work. So that's going to be like a group course that's going to come. So that'll be fun. And yes, do you guys have any other questions? So I think in, yes, call your father if the bees correlate to him. Definitely a sign. So I think my like kind of closing thoughts are that when you can come back into your body, when you can begin to follow and trust your intuition, when you can use the points of pain in your life as a driver and really understand that they are working for you, they are not a punishment, they are guiding you into your next steps, and really hold the vision of what you want your life to look and feel like. I got ultra clear when I joined that big expensive mastermind. I'm not going to call it expensive. When I made that really great investment in that big mastermind in the fall of 2018, and I just went back and I found like this Google Drive that had like all this stuff from when I started it. And I looked at everything that I wrote. And one of the things I wrote was 120, how much money do you want to make this year? I wrote $125,000. And my exact revenue last year was $125,000. Like I exactly manifested what I wrote down. And I had no idea how I was going to do that. I had no clue. I had to more than double what I had made the year before. And it just happened. I was just guided through it. And I had a completely failed launch of a course where nobody signed up. Not one person signed up for my course. And I was like, I'm ruined. I can't do this. Why is everything failing? I just am desperate. And it didn't matter. It all worked out. So there is no failure in this. There's just experimentation and there's just learning. And my goal for this year is to double that number and do 250 or 300,000 working 3 days a week. And that may be a statement that is triggering for some people. But I don't want to hide behind not sharing that. And my goal for sharing that is not to create comparison or to gloat, right? Or to be an ego behind it. My point in sharing that is that you guys can do this too. You can step into this flow where you are so in alignment with your soul purpose that things just become easy, that what you write down to manifest for the year shows up for you, even though you have no clue how you're going to get there. And that number might be like, how the hell am I going to do that? You can do that. And that's what I'm stepping into with these bigger programs that I'm doing. I have this Abundant Ascension Business Mastermind that I am starting in June. And it's a year-long program where I am taking you guys through the journey that I went through to do the deep inner healing work that got me out of guilt, that got me out of unworthiness, that got me out of lack, that got me out of the inability to receive, that got me out of this over masculine energy and got me into this divine feminine flow and worthiness where I get to just be. And I get to be really honest and open and authentic, and I get to have emotional freedom, and I get to have sovereignty, and I get to choose who I work with, and I get to choose what energy is in my life, and I have fierce boundaries. And I want that for everyone. So if you guys feel called to do light work and to turn it into something that supports your lifestyle and brings you a financial abundance, because we want love and we want support and we want all these things, but financial freedom is a really important part of emotional freedom. I know, because I lived in that lack for so long. So I think it's important that we recognize that our physical wants and desires are really important. We want to feel good in a healthy body. We want to have financial freedom. We want to have emotional freedom. We want to have the ability to make decisions and to decide what we do and when. And if you feel like turning this calling, this light work, this little fire within you into something that serves people in some capacity through coaching, through mentoring, through teaching, through creating online courses, through a physical product, like this is there's a path for you, and I've walked it, and I have sure shit not done. I'm going to keep walking it, right? Like it's such a fire within me. And the more I step into this path, the more I see massive change happening for my clients. Some of you on here have been working with me for a while, and I see you literally transforming. I had a transformation in the last year. The glow up is real. Like, you really change physically. You start to embody a different version of yourself, and it's so powerful. And yeah, so yes, I want all the women to be financially free, because my friend Ruthie says the world needs wealthy, embodied, spiritual women. And that is the truth. That is how we change the next generation. That is how we get out of this old patriarchal bullshit. Like, this is how we do it. And so this is where I'm being guided. My first level was my physical healing, and I shared that journey. And now I'm stepping into my next level of healing and abundance. And that's the journey I'm sharing with you guys. So yeah, so lots of cool, amazing things coming. And if you guys have questions about any of this, email me through my website, reach out to me through any of my social media platforms. I'm on Instagram too much. And even if you don't feel like you're ready, you're like, well, I'm not ready for an intuition course, I'm not ready for a year-long business mastermind, just reach out to me anyway and connect. Because the reason I do this work is for deep connection. Like, that is just innately in me. Like, I just want to see people thrive. I want to see people grow and change. And so if like a couple messages are like the connection that you need to like take a next step, like, I'm here to give that. If you want to hop on a quick 15-minute call and be like, I love this idea of your business mastermind, I am not ready yet. Like, let's take 15 minutes and figure out what is your next step, so that in the future you can be ready. Like, let's help you get clear on your vision for what you want your life to look like, so you can be ready. So there's an application on that business mastermind page. I think Eileen just shared it in the chat box. Just fill it out and email me. And like, I want to connect with as many women as possible. And it doesn't mean you have to join any of these programs to connect with me. Like, I'm here to be an inspiration in whatever way possible, and just let you know that like, you can do all of it and any of it. And there's nothing can stop you from your light work. Nothing can stop you. Money, relationships, limiting beliefs, physical health issues, nothing can stop you when you get on the path. So yes, I want to live in the sacred temple that is my body, care for my body, mind, spirit as my sacred space. Yeah, totally. That's a closing statement right there. All right, so I'm going to close it out with that. And thank you all so much for being here. I love all of you with all of my heart. And I think you're amazing. And you're all freaking doing the work and showing up. And think about what cracked open in you today. Did we crack open a desire? Did we crack open an intuitive channel? Did we crack open a trigger? Where you're like, damn, I got triggered. Okay, I got to work on healing that. See what's in there for you. Do a little journaling after this, or tonight or tomorrow morning, and just see what else is coming through from this chat. And I will be thinking about all of you and sending you love. And so, and then, oh, let me tell you about the next free event that's coming up. May, I don't know, I think it's gonna be the last week, second to last week in May. It's gonna be a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm gonna do a free journey through the chakras from like 3 to 4 p.m., something like that. You'll get the email with it, but we're gonna do a journey through the chakras. May 12th, 13th, and 14th, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's Eileen. She is my light worker. I'm not sharing her. That's not true, I'm sharing her, but she does her behind the scenes light work, and she is so important to me. Thank you, Eileen. So yeah, we'll do like root and sacral, solar plexus and heart, and then throat, third eye, and crown. Because when you can more deeply understand how the energy flows through the body and how different energy centers in the body hold different things, you can begin to work with those energy centers and heal them. So I'm super passionate about the chakras and using them as a tool for healing. So yeah, I'm going to do a free teaching on that. So, all right. Love you guys all so much. Have a wonderful day and keep up the healing work.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome. Bye.